everybody. Welcome to our members and also the public. Lovely to see so many of you. I'm sure I know what you're here for, but yes. Right, have we got any apologies?
Yes, I have apologies from Councillor Dixon and County Councillor Collar.
Okay. Any declarations of interest? Right. We'll get to the minutes of the last meeting. Has everybody got Anita? Right. Has anyone got any queries on page 1? Just the lamp post up at Cowper Road. Does anyone know if it's been fixed yet? Nothing, right, thank you. Devolution, that's on that thing, isn't it? Right. Okay. Page 2.
Just above page 1,
Yeah.
it's going to come up under matter arising regarding the presentation by the DC on Kearsley Parks last month. I thought we said it was going to be discussed.
It is. It's
It is.
hidden later on the agenda.
Yeah, it will be.
I thought that as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's number 12 on the back of the agenda. Page 2.
Oh yeah. Do you know?
Where you use 2 pages, Andrew.
I know, I've confused everyone this morning. I do it deliberately.
Yeah. Questions? No. Recreation gallery. Has he managed to repair the chain link fencing yet?
I haven't heard any update on that.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just still
I
someone's
know
still
they
looking for
could-
someone to do it.
I think it was getting it as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Page 3. Bus shelter we won't mention. Nothing on that, is there? We're waiting for David to come back to us, aren't we?
Yes.
Bus shelter.
Yeah. The bus shelter on Lewisham Road, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Beanie was going to come back to us on that. He's not here at the moment. Yeah. Right. Does anyone want to propose and second the minutes?
Yeah, I'll propose.
Right, where are we? No, well, the updates we've just sorted out. Please reports. Policing one?
The only thing I have is the newsletter from our PC, which I circulated.
Yes, we've got that, yeah.
The only item on that was a stolen car,
Oh, yeah.
Outside
Lower Road.
co-op.
No, Jack. Oh, the co-op.
They left the keys apparently in the car.
Oh
They
dear.
went in.
No, you never leave your keys in the car.
But apparently they have arrested somebody based on
Yeah.
CCTV footage.
Very good.
Yeah, because they've
Very
got
good.
cameras, haven't they?
Can't do any.
Oh, that's great. Right. District and county councillors. Please.
County to start with, Madam Chairman. Not much apart from one big thing: elections in May. We didn't get devolution. We didn't get the devolution fast track, so we are now having Kent County Council elections in May. A few highlights that have been going on over the last month. Pothole Blitz. They've been given some more money by central government, so there's going to be a pothole blitz in the spring of £14.5 million, of which
Is this Kent?
Kent
Yeah, one bit over.
Kent is getting that, and on roads over the next year. So not only have we got £14.5 million, there's going to be £80 million spent on roads in Kent, just the general maintenance of roads.
Can I just make a point on potholes, because we might forget. But, the thing was, Nigel managed to rattle somebody's cage and got some potholes done in the upper part of Minnis Lane.
Yeah.
And also from St Radigan's Abbey along to the crossroads on the direction of Capel. And they were done. And I had this minuted that we were very grateful to Councillor Collar for doing whatever he did. However, these potholes haven't been done very well, and they've. I haven't reported it because.
First of all, please report it, and secondly, report it they haven't done well because that's been the problem across the county. Is that there have been these guys who literally just come out of a wheelbarrow, thrown down, and patted in with foot. So that is a problem that's across the county, and that was so. They've now got these funny machines, or lorries that can come down and cut and cut and paste basically, which is far better than Joe Bloggs coming along
Just
with a contract, tipping a wheelbarrow in.
Okay.
And thumping it down and it all coming up. So yes, you understand that problem and that it's now not happening, touch wood, you have no idea, it depends on the contracts and highways do. But please report it back to KC Highways on the website if you could. And if you don't get an answer, please, you know, I will do what Nigel did, which is push beyond that.
Thank you very much.
So that's it, pothole blitz, £80 million has been put on roads. This is a really good, the next thing I'm going to do is a really good, a good story. Something that's been sort of hidden is it's the no use empty policy that they did. So it's the 20th anniversary. I didn't realise it would go on for so long. Sue might know more about this than I do. So it's basically bringing back homes that are unoccupied, and KCC will give you help to do it. 8,500 houses costing £63 million have been brought back into use using it. So basically what you're saying is a long-term empty house, and they call it a long-term empty house, over 6 months. And it has to be private, unfortunately, and the owner can then now ask KCC for a bit of money to say, help me redecorate it, and then put someone into it, or you can let it out or use it. I think it was on the television about sort of 9 months ago, wasn't it? So, BBC South East had it. But it's a really, really good news story that has sort of sneaked under the radar. And it's something that should be sort of publicised. I'll give you notes anyway. Other than that, KCC are going full hell for leather on the elections. So you'll get people like me, people with all sorts of colours and people coming forward to you and saying we're the best in the world. Other than that, anything that?
Any questions?
Yeah.
Clive?
On the number of properties that the government have claimed that they will be building over the next parliamentary period, which I think we're all rather dubious about. 1.5 million.
I can't say.
No.
I can't say.
But anyway, one thing that I would be grateful if you could take away for us and come back with some sort of acknowledgement or answer is that in the early 90s I was working with Southern Housing, and there was an initiative that came out of the Housing Corporation, which was a funding mechanism at the time, called LOTS, and LOTS stood for Living Over Shop, and this was quite an extraordinary initiative that we got involved with.
Can I just sit down to write? Sorry.
LOTS.
Lots. LOTS.
LOTS.
Living over the shop. Over the shop.
And it seems to me that we participated in this, and it seems to me extraordinary that with the number of properties that we need, should we say, that this has been allowed to die because it doesn't exist anymore, and yet if you walk down any high street with shops on both sides, usually there's 3 or 4 floors up above.
Dover's a fine example of that. If you walk up and you look at all the shops that are above and they're in disrepair. So I totally agree. I'm a fan of the London way of working. Is you have these lovely shops and people live above it, and they come down, and so if you're living above it, then people actually use the shops underneath it, which
Originally, I suppose it was the shopkeepers who used to live
but now they don't.
different floors. But anyway, privately, I have also done a number of these myself as a surveyor, and it seems to me that Dover District Council, as our sort of parent authority, I would like to know whether or not this could be raised as an initiative, because all this space up there above shops is vacant. It's unused, just gathering dust.
I totally agree, and I know. Okay, I'm speaking. I should be speaking on a KCC, but on the DDC point of view, because I'm also a DDC councillor. And it's something that worries everybody, but it's how to do it because they're owned by they're privately owned, so it's very, very hard to do it. I have got here who is Peter Jarl, who is head of, you're chairman of the Deal Chamber of Trade in Deal, who might help to say what the law is in Deal, but he probably doesn't want to. But everyone knows that is a problem, but it's who owns above the shops, and that is the problem. So if it's not owned by the district and it's not owned by Kent, there's very little we can do.
But this initiative that came out of the Housing Corporation, which is the funding
The housing corporation, yes, which was
Yes,
the district for.
that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the initiative was aimed at the owners of the shops.
To do it.
And
Did the owners of the shops in those days used to own it? Now they don't.
and
Probably
directed to Southern Housing and other housing
It is.
associations.
It is difficult because obviously that doesn't exist anymore. No one wants to take that on, I don't think. It'd have to be
I think
government.
so, it's too much money.
It would be government money. And
Government
some of
money.
the shops we have, especially in Dover, the entrance to the upstairs flat is through the shop.
Through the shop, which it
And
used to be in the old days, wasn't it?
And you
That's how
can't
it went,
you can't convert upstairs unless you can't do it.
You can't do it, it's got to come out the back, you can't go out the back.
Because the one that was Claire's, the firm that took it over,
Yeah.
they bought the shop next door so they can convert the entrance to there to go up to the flats that they converted. It is difficult because they used to live above, yes.
Yeah.
But it might be worth
It's worth investigating. Can I get back to you on that one?
Please do. Yes.
In line with David, who is the district councillor.
Yeah.
Who should say it. So the two of us will have a thing.
But it is such a waste and such a...
No, I totally agree.
If the owners of the shops, and therefore the floors above, that are just gathering dust,
but they can write
if
it off.
the
Yeah.
owners of the shops were made aware of the possibilities, that's all.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of them would go for it.
I'm sure they will do. I'm sure they will do. It's literally just a legal way of doing it.
The one that we did with a local firm was Blackman's, fireplace people,
Yeah.
all the plumbers, and we worked with them, and they were one of the few that took it up.
Oh, it might be something you could take
I
forward.
will definitely,
Yeah.
Madam Chairman, I will do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you need anything from a district, I don't have the district report. I can
Okay.
give you a district report if you want, but
Well, yes, that would be very nice if you've got enough to give us.
I've done so many county councils for all district councils over the last couple of weeks. So here we go. There are there are a few things coming from the district. As you probably all know, the Deal Leisure Centre is now going ahead. I was at a project advisory group today, and so what they intend on doing there
This is tides.
Tides, yeah.
And then it will start the wet side. The dry side is staying open. The wet side will start being demolished in about June, and it will start rebuilding to be completed by May 2027. So you'll see a lot of action around there. The budget was decided by the administration at River District Council, and for a bandy property, for the council, it's going to be £220, which is an increase of 2.98%. But that's, if you actually look down, again, I'll send you all this lot. The Peace and Crime Commissioners are now have a preset more than us, which is, or more than David District Council, with £270. Kenton Medway Fire Rescue, poor old things, they're on about £94. And Kent County Council will take about £1,600. And the town and parish's average precept is about £87. So that's what
So the total's just under 5%, isn't it, over the year?
yeah, 4.92.
Good.
Above everything. But what I always like looking on this lot is that, you know, you complain about the Kent County Council, and you've actually got to take into consideration the police and the fire brigade. And I always think the fire brigade are dealt a poor hand, personally. There's something called the Impact Fest, which is a free fun pack festival designed especially for young people aged 11 to 18, taking place at Pensister Gardens. That's the wrong one, there's another one, sorry.
Yes, yeah, there was.
Sorry, no. What I'm after now is the young people in the district fun pack sports sessions on the Pensister Gardens grassed areas on the 17th, 24th and 31st, and in Sheridan Road from the 13th, 20th and 27th. They're being run by a charity called Uprising Youth and Community, and is part of its Hang 10 football skills. It's basically encouraging kids. What I find is quite strange. It's outside school holidays, which was a little bit strange. And the other thing is really the county elections. Otherwise, within the district, apart from Maison Dieu, as
Yes.
you all know, I've been around there a couple of times. If you do have the opportunity, it looks stunning. Absolutely stunning. I think it is incredibly well spent national lottery money. It really wasn't. It didn't come from taxpayer. Well, it's not. It's national lottery money, but it is unbelievable what they've done to the Connor Hall. Please do have a look at it.
What is it actually used for then?
Sorry?
Is it used for,
What's used?
is it just Maison Dieu? Is it just a museum or?
Social thing.
Mason Dieu is to put the town hall.
It's the town hall.
The town hall.
the
It's used for
old-
loads of things.
Don't say what
There
it's
used to be
used for.
functions in it.
No, be a festival.
I think you can visit it now as a visitor attraction
Yeah, I've
rather than
been in
just
there.
going for a party for an evening.
You could always
You
visit it.
can
could
hire
al-
it, but it's.
You could always visit it, but the strange thing was you had to walk up those ghastly steps.
Yeah.
And walk in, you walked into the stone hall and you thought, oh God, what's this? And you walked out. Now you've got a front door with reception, walking in there, you've got lovely lavatories on the left hand side. They're very good lavatories. And you can walk into the Connaught Hall now, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The Mez Parlour is sitting there. You can rent that on an Airbnb basis, and it's gorgeous. And the decor now is not just magnolia. It's gone back to what it used to be like 150 years ago.
Good. Who's going to run it?
DDC.
What, and the catering?
In-house.
Yeah.
Cross
Thank you.
fingers. It's cross fingers. I was there when they all started thinking about who should run it, but DDC.
Because it was always let out to somebody
No,
on tender,
it's
wasn't it?
in-house to DEC.
Yeah.
Mm.
Same as Curzon.
Which is good, everyone's thought, councils can't organise it in a brewery, but they're going for it. Good on them, good on them.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you very much.
No question. Well, have we got any questions from the public? Any questions? Mark?
No.
Yes.
I just wanted to comment on what was said about no use empty, in that a lot of those no use empty properties are actually over the top of shops.
Yes, they were. There were quite a few on Folkestone Road that were done up as well. Yes, I did do that when I was on the council.
And you can still use the no use empty system to convert properties over shops.
You can,
Yeah.
yes, when we find the owners.
Good.
Yes.
Where you find it, that's exactly so.
Yes.
Can I just remind you that it was agreed a couple of years ago that the bench outside the village hall would be looked after? I'm not sure it was done last year.
Oh, have we got that? Okay.
Are we going around county, parish councillors?
Did I miss the parish councils? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, parish, yeah, Clive. Sorry.
I have reported a matter to Kent Highways, namely the double yellow lines that were put in from the junction at the bottom of Minnis Lane going round towards the station. And I had a great deal of difficulty getting through to this person that answered the telephone. Who wanted a map reference and postcode and goodness knows what else. But anyway, I did this in the end, and these double yellow lines, which extend for 200 or 300 yards, I think, on the left-hand side, going round towards the station, are now virtually indistinct. They have become muddied, or something like that, and it will almost certainly lead to an accident at some sort of stage.
Sorry, as Casey's here, who did you speak to? Was it Mr.
No, Kent Highways. Kent Highways.
Not the area manager,
No,
Tom?
no.
Okay. Can I get hold of him as well?
Please do.
Can you send me an email?
Yeah.
Just exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And there's someone called
Okay.
Tom.
I mean, we were delighted when they put those lines
Yeah.
in barely 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But now they're virtually indistinct. And of course, somebody coming in the opposite direction towards the Dublin and Minnis Lane, who doesn't really understand the situation. I have had several incidents myself like this, where they're supposed to give way. This is the idea.
Yeah.
Pull in. They don't, and there's going to be a head-on very soon. But anyway, I've had an acknowledgement from Kent Highways. Is
Yeah,
it-
but they need a nudge. And so if you get an acknowledgement, I will nudge the Kent Highways manager.
Thank you.
He's not the greatest in the world. So
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll try what I
That's
can.
Yeah, that's fine.
Chris, have you got anything?
Well, almost a repeat of the same meeting before last, and again this with the roads deteriorated, because the top road, London Road, was resurfaced a couple of years ago. It is definitely showing signs of wear. Again after the
There's
winter
a lot of
right
traffic,
away.
yeah.
And heavy traffic. And the other thing still concerns me, just as you come up through the traffic lights on Crabble Hill, I believe, speaking to you before, that wall that is broken and fallen on the road.
Yeah.
I would definitely, you
Oh, it's a
frequently would
nursing
have-
home,
it's
isn't
a
it?
nursing home, they need to really get something done about it, because you see traffic swerve, they can just suddenly see this, especially when it's a bit dark, and they think there's something in the road.
Is that still used as a nursing home?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's all welded up at night.
As you go round the
It's
block.
on, yeah,
Right.
beyond the traffic light.
Just after
Oh,
the
they
traffic
left.
light.
Yes,
Oh,
first
yeah,
of
yeah.
all.
They've took the trees down, but the walls in about. Yeah.
And where it is, with the traffic lights and the intensity of the traffic, you quite easily have a prattling there.
Nice to see all that.
Very brief inquiry, do we have a firm date for the fete? Because I'm not quite up to speed.
Well,
what's going
that's
on.
up for
Because
discussion.
I've got two
Yeah.
sponsor meetings next week, so.
That will be up for discussion later on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not on the agenda, yeah.
No, I think we can get it under any other business. can't we?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just a couple of bits from me with Stagecoach, my battle for the missing bus stop
Oh.
on Wingrove Hill, that I am in communication, well it's now stopped unfortunately, with someone called Samuel Bassett from KCC, Bus Infrastructure and Bus Projects Delivery Manager.
Very powerful name he's got there.
Yeah, I obviously complained because I've been ignored for
Bassett,
months and months and months.
B-A-S-S-E-T.
BASSETT. Yeah. Opened it up as a complaint about the missing flag because buses are not stopping. I've been on every
no,
week
it's
and the
not
bus
there,
will
is it?
not stop because the flag is not there. He said he's communicated this to the Dover depot to remind the drivers to stop because the stop exists. It's not happening. He's in communication with Stagecoach to get the replacement flag because it is them. Initially they told me it was them. So a long email, and then he told me he's got a great relationship with Stagecoach and they look after the infrastructure on the highway for bus stops. So I thought I would raise with him about the missing bus stop on Lewisham Road to see if it actually is their problem and not Dover
Yes.
District Council's problem. That's when communication stopped. Because he said we're responsible for the infrastructure.
What a
Well, that is
Yeah.
What is
What a
infrastructure?
And that is infrastructure. The missing stop on Lewisham Road is bus stop infrastructure on the highway, which he has said himself is responsible for.
Ah,
So I've asked him.
that's semantic. That's semantics. isn't
Yeah.
So you pushed it too hard.
Pushed it too hard. So I've still got no flag and I've still got no answer on the bus stop.
It's like to get somewhere.
But
No,
I will not give up.
from Samuel Bassett.
No.
No, so he hasn't come back. That was 26th of February that I said about the bus stop. I also raised about keep going on about the Ridgeway Loop coming in out of the village
Yeah.
and said you have a connection to Stagecoach because they're ignoring me as well. Could you help on that one? That's when the communication stops.
Of course.
Yes, but I've got an in with somebody, but it's just I will chase, but I don't know if you know Samuel.
No, I don't know Samuel personally, but I do know the man in charge of the buses, all the board manufacturers.
The flag's been missing for a year and a half now, and I've been
So,
pushing this for a year and a half.
that's
We need that
who
back.
I can.
It is a bus stop.
Yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you. Christiane.
I haven't got anything apart from the fate, but we'll discuss that later.
We will. Yes?
Just two different things. One is I was surprised at the PC's report because it didn't include the increase in crimes that have been happening. So Kate's groceries, things were stolen from there and from the co-op as well, by young people, and then also by an individual.
That might be on
but
next month's report.
maybe.
Yeah.
And then also there was an accident on Lewisham Road with Common Lane.
Oh, yes.
Really big one. I actually
Half the
saw it
world's gone.
because I was picking my daughter
It was
up.
something coming up Common Lane, wasn't it?
Well, the problem is that Facebook has started talking about it, so which is going to probably affect the investigation. But you know, I'm really quite concerned about the Lewisham Road and the speeding on Lewisham Road, which we've talked about before. And I know that we've done the speed watch on the London Road, but you know, I really think we need to think about. I know the HIP has sort of raised
I think
it
there's certain
as
places
well.
they tell you can go. So
Yeah, but
they do Lewisham Road. I think
problem is
it's
it's quite a, it's you know, it's a hidden corner that not everybody sees. I think.
Happened about tea time, didn't it? Happened about tea time, didn't it?
No, it's 10 o'clock at night.
10
Because
o'clock
I was
at night.
picking my daughter up from the co-op after work.
lovely.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Yeah. We saw all
It's
the
quite horrific. Yeah.
Debris.
lights.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. I shall have to have I hadn't seen them all myself. No, I haven't been
No.
along there for a while.
Really bad smash it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It spells out one word, doesn't it? Speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
I'll go back to the questions from the public. Has anyone else got a question? Yes, Jane.
How long does it take to report a light being out? Because where I live in Dalside, unfortunately with Meadowdean being empty, it's very, very dark. This year I rang the Dover District Council and they said, oh no, it's not us, you need to report it to Kent County, which I did. And when I rang them after a fortnight, I said, could you tell me please, oh,
is it?
It is,
Mm.
but it's so dark down there, you know, and especially with Medellin out of action. But I just wondered, is that the norm for
It can
practice?
it can be very quick, or it can take a couple of months. It depends if they're in this area. They don't come out especially unless
No.
it's suburban.
And the big argument is who owns the line.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
normally
Well,
like where it's-
it was on the pavement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's
Yeah.
not.
there are a lot of lights.
Some are DDC, aren't they?
There's a
Yeah.
big argument around that, and then the DDC and KCC complain. So
Who pays
you're lucky
it?
to get it amended. Well done.
Well,
Yes.
I'll be
Well done
honest
on
with you,
the
if not,
determination.
we could have had a nasty accident
Yeah, I know.
because it's so
It
dark.
is dark there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
very
nice at all.
No, I agree.
And lorries and things come out to Lower Road,
Yeah.
they turn up
Yeah.
and everything, you know, so. But I would just wondered out how long does it really take, you know?
That's
It
you were
varies.
you were quick.
Well, I
Yes.
think I did.
You well done, Jean.
You did well, you did well.
Any more questions?
Relating actually to the planning.
Oh, well, we'll
matters,
get to that.
Do you want to leave it till then?
Do we get?
We'll leave it till then.
Yeah, we'll leave it till then, yeah. Right. Have we got any more questions? Sorry, I missed people out in the wrong order. Right. Planning matters. Right. I have two. The two, I am going to leave two of them, which is sort of like the St Madigan Abbey ones. There is so much paperwork, it's too much to go through here tonight, so we'll have a special meeting for that.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's 80 pages for each one of them. It's, yeah. It could be quite a long discussion.
42 documents.
Right, the first one is Lower Road, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Medellin.
Medellin.
Meadowdean, my favourite. I haven't read quite a bit of it, most of it actually, including the parking stress survey, of
The
which,
time of it is great.
Yeah, that's it, I saw that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have some.
Yeah.
KCC are the transport people. They, in their letter, in the report, say it has, the parking will have nothing to do with them because it's residential.
Yeah.
So they have commented with no comment. So they haven't brought any concerns up about the parking. The parking is actually down on the Lambeth, I can never say the word, it's a methodology, isn't it? Yeah, how you consider parking. You measure the road out, take out all the drop curbs, and then work out for 5 metres how many cars can park along a road that's left. Which is how they've come out with the number of cars they reckon can park on each road.
At 10 to midnight.
Pardon?
At 10 to midnight.
Yeah.
Well, it will be. It has to be done either first thing in the morning, before 6 o'clock, or late last at night, because most people will have parked their cars by then.
So it's reflective of anybody who's meant to be
At home,
and
yes.
what's left over.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes. You can't do it sort of earlier in the evening because it could be visitors and everyone else. That gives a false negative. So it's not.
But as far as
Commercial.
parking in Meadowdean is concerned, the thing was, I mean, originally it was 3 houses, and as 3 houses, of course, without any sort of off-road parking, it would probably be quite acceptable. But the trouble is, I hear what you say about River Council planning, and I've experienced this myself before. That I've even had somebody say to me, "We will never refuse a planning application on parking grounds alone." But the thing is, I wouldn't want for this parish council to object to this application. It's a difficult situation because this place has been empty for far too long. But I am concerned about the on-street car parking for 9 additional units. And I think I don't really know what to think about it.
Well, it works out at roughly working out on the number of flats, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 14 extra vehicles could park
Potentially.
potentially.
Couldn't park on the front for you.
No, anywhere, there's a 200 metre area they've gone to, even to Lewisham Road for these cars to park. Yeah, of all the surrounding roads without, downside is not included, neither is Beresford Road.
But if there no scope on within the grounds
No.
to offer
No.
any
No.
parking?
There was a
whatsoever.
small parking area at the bridge end, where
Yeah.
the Humpy Back Bridge is. But I mean, you could probably only get 2 or 3 cars onto it. There is nothing they can do on the back.
On the site?
No, there's no room at the back or anything.
So if these were converted back to 3 properties, I would imagine these are going to be 4-bedroom houses, 3-bedroom houses.
Well, they're
so what would
detailed.
that produce?
Well,
There's
it's
2
double
parking
bed.
spots per 3 to 4 bedroom.
But it's more likely to be 3 vehicles in reality.
It could be 3
yeah,
vehicles per house.
No, but
No.
I'm trying to make a comparison.
It could be the same number of
If
vehicles.
that's 3 properties, that's going to bring in 9 vehicles, maybe 10 vehicles.
8 if not more,
Visitors,
yeah.
It's probably, it's not
Yeah.
far off
Yeah.
the flat number. If it was, if you could argue that
Although
you didn't want flats.
The parking report does suggest that more people have bicycles.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're providing space for parking
Yeah.
bicycles,
And
because they
so-
can.
And they mentioned about the train and the
And the bus.
But that's
There was
Once a
this,
month.
there was this a planning application put in
So, yes.
last year.
What about it?
It was put in last year in Malvern Road,
No,
at the
got
bottom,
cancelled. That got
and it
thrown
was
out.
a massive sort of place. And it was rejected, or it was sent back. I think it was only it was refused. It was sent back for parking problems.
Yeah.
And do you know what they did? They came back and they sort of said, or the applicants made a fresh application or modified it. And they said that we don't think that parking is going to be required here because it's so close to the town centre and the station. People will be using bikes.
You don't actually have to provide parking when you build a house.
No.
There is no actual law that says you have to provide parking. Yeah. I mean, they have, this survey's taken it all the way up to Lewisham Road and near where you live, and some other places, all the roads around apart from those other 2.
Can
People do park.
Sorry, can I ask, previously, have there been planning applications where parking has been an issue for
Every
Flats.
planning,
and
Every-
what was the decision at that time around parking and congestion and traffic?
the flats were either built with not enough ample parking
Yeah.
or they're sent back to be relooked at. Yeah.
One of the objections, the proposed flat just down the road here, isn't it? Where the old garage was.
Yeah.
It was one of the building
One
I
was,
think was thought has been unsightly, but also
The parking
There was
issue,
parking.
traffic.
Yeah.
there wasn't going to be
And that
enough.
was refused, was it?
No, it was withdrawn.
Withdrawn. Yeah. Never
Which
was
means they
refused.
can come back again, I suppose, and have
Does
a
that
go.
lady get a chance to speak?
But this is a real dilemma, I think, because, as I say, I would not like to see this parish council recommending this for refusal, or not supporting it, because the place has stood empty for far too long. But I don't know, I can't tell whether this has been sold and whether this is a new one.
I'm not sure if that's a good enough reason really, just because we hadn't had a better plan and it was empty a long time to have that. It would just cause a lot of friction in the village.
But what is?
We could maybe just ask if they could be amend it with more parking.
Yeah. We can always, you can always
I mean,
word something for
the
them.
ninth
I don't think
flat,
there's enough room there.
the 9th flat is where they've converted the conservatory, right? And they're building an extension.
Yes. They're a bit changing
know.
that, aren't they?
That is
Yeah.
room there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
We
could
can
be
always
split.
recommend, you can
That
recommend
we would
anything
recommend
to
it
go
that
back
would
to
be a
plan.
car park
Yeah.
built.
Yeah, you can recommend.
Or some kind of parking provision at least.
I mean, I was wondering about that where the bridge is, it's a bit wider, why, there could be space for 4 cars if you,
There was 4 used to park there when it was a nursing home.
yeah,
Mm.
it's not mentioned in the report, I think.
Yeah, it is. It was
Is it?
4 cars were there.
Yeah.
Can I help? Because I live junction, right,
Yeah.
through there. To try and get out, sometimes it's quite, the van is parked practically over the T-junction. So as you're trying to get out, you have a job to, because you've got the sight line coming out where the pavement comes round.
Yes, right.
I mean, there's always people parking there belonging to the school, you know, the nursery in Beresford.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a picture here on this, I don't know whether you got it here in front of you. There's a blue car there, and there's a grey van that's permanently there, and we know they belong to the Lynxes. They've got a tax disc. They can park anywhere. Can't they? Yeah. That's the this is where I'm saying, so where, if those two cars are parked there, I mean, sometimes there comes another one, a third one, they change it one over.
Yes.
You know.
To move it round. Yes. Yeah.
So we are got problems before we start.
We could put a recommendation in for more parking.
Yeah, I think.
I just wanted to mention, you did raise there, these two ladies, about the conservatory at the back, and having an amendment put forward. They've got access at the side, with the big gate, they can get round back. Have you visited the site?
No.
Well, I don't know how much
Not
space is
outside,
there.
not inside or
Not
anything.
inside.
No.
There's quite a large conservatory, as you've seen there,
It
which,
is large.
if that's not going to be incorporated in the building,
It's
then
being converted.
Well,
surely
it's meant to be another
an
flat,
area
you see. It's
made
meant
for
to
parking.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Sorry? So you can turn it down. and then
Turn it
ask
down.
them
No, if you look at this one, the
Resubmit.
elevation.
You can't turn around and say, how about putting
Yeah.
conservatory?
That's extra. That was
You
good.
can't
Yeah.
change that.
That's not within the planning authorities.
So it could be, if you,
That's what I
It's
said.
used on lack of
Before
parking.
spaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it, you can't turn around and say, how about?
no, that's fine.
Or the applicants,
Yeah.
the applicants could be invited to withdraw it.
Yes.
And
To
resubmit.
resubmit, yes.
To resubmit with an
And they
amendment.
could be advised.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't change it though.
Yeah.
But if it's on-road parking, that becomes under KCC. If it's off-road parking, that comes under the district. So again, you get the.
Well, it doesn't matter who it
who as
comes
well.
up, we're interested in the village, aren't we,
Yes.
as a whole?
Can we,
Yeah.
can we not just really object that the conservatory will be
We can ask them to withdraw and resubmit plans.
to
They don't
make
have
room,
to.
we
for plan, or we could say
use that space it was.
You can
I'd go along with that.
put an objection in about the parking.
Yeah.
Is there a way they could put parking on site?
Yeah.
Because it is.
No parking land.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are on Google Maps,
I'm
we're seeing
looking at
there's
Google
quite a
Maps
lot
just
of
to see
green
the garden space and the access. There is quite a lot of.
plots.
Some of the garden spaces under the ecology bit, so they won't be allowed to park on that.
But if you remove that conservatory, you probably get in 6.
It's just, we're saying,
Yeah,
instead
the
of
extension.
this, with this in tow,
Yeah.
you've got
We can ask them to relook at the plans.
And
We
it's got
can't
good
ask them to
access.
change
No,
them.
no, that's
very good
Yeah.
access.
Very good access to.
Yeah.
But they would have done planning under
They would
national
have been-
policy framework about how many cars and how many planning spaces they need per thing. So it'd be bloody hard, sorry, excuse my language, it'd be very hard to change them if they turn around and say that MPPS says that you need 1.2
And having read
cars
this.
whatever it is, and it is very difficult. And then if it's off road, if it's on road, it comes under KCC, and you see what KCC do. So it is really difficult to do it on.
We could put a
on
recommendation.
you put an objection.
Yeah.
As a parish council though, we have the right to say.
You have the right to anything, but it's got to be on the
I know, I
planning
think
thing.
we-
So you
we-
understand that the planners are looking at 1.2 parking spaces per
It would be
flat.
difficult to turn that down, but we could put an objection
You
in.
can put an
Okay.
objection.
Yeah.
I
If-
think
if
also
everyone's-
with the number of cars, the potential number of cars, because the ground floor is basically 3-bedroom apartments, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, overall with the 9 flats.
They don't count each bedroom as a car though.
9 cars, have
No, you don't count that.
The 14 is how the survey works out.
Sorry?
14 vehicles potentially is how the survey is worked out.
I think that's.
It's probably less, but that's how they, that's what they call.
That's how the MPPF works,
Works.
and that's law.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that goes above everything, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
But technically turning the conservatory into an actual building.
We can't ask them to do that.
No, I'm just saying, technically though, that's a variation on the original building, isn't it?
But that's been put through
Yeah.
to the
Oh,
count,
that's
yeah. So they've obviously had advice and everything
Yeah,
else
okay.
for that. It's turning the semi-permanent structure into a permanent
Yeah,
structure,
yeah.
which you could get away with.
Okay.
Yeah. But we could ask them to look at parking. But
So what are we going to do?
I was just going to ask everybody if we can.
So if I ask them to consider resubmitting to accommodate on-site parking,
We could try.
Yeah.
that.
and we suggest that this conservatory conservatory space could be used.
Because the extension is not just a conservatory, it's across the whole side of the building.
I mean, even if they dropped one unit,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still going to be a pretty substantial.
I mean, they're not.
I mean, we
that
welcome
they're
the
not
idea
changing
of
it.
creating flats
Yeah.
and using it.
Yes, yeah, and they're
But
not changing
we're-
the outside.
But
apart from that bit.
we are.
I mean, if they
concerned
dig
about-
their heels in and it gets refused, well,
Well, it'll be
You
put
can't
forward
say
to
that.
the planning committee,
yes.
our objections.
Yes, we have to give our.
Yeah. So shall we,
If there's anything on the mill front.
I'm just talking about how close it is to the wreck as well, with the parking.
oh, well, that's the whole river really, isn't it? But, right, shall we have a show of hands as to whether we'll put an objection in under parking, or does anyone want to come up with another suggestion? Or
What was
consent?
that wording that Andrew just read out?
That we request that they resubmit the application to accommodate on-site parking. I mean, we could start by saying we welcome the idea of
Yes,
creating apartments and bringing the building back
Yes.
into use.
but concerns have been
But
raised.
concerns about
Yeah, about the village.
the draft.
Even
summary.
taking into consideration this report,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Go on. Because I thought that was.
Well, whilst we welcome the idea of creating these new apartments and bringing the building back into use, notwithstanding the parking stress survey, we would like to request that the applicant resubmit the application to accommodate more on-site parking, possibly through using the space.
We can put
Taking
an
up by
objection
the
in, yeah.
conservatory.
So what concerns me about that is the amount of disruption there's going to be in that corner of river.
They will come up with a construction, no, that's not one to turn it down. They will come up with a plan at the planning committee
Yes.
of what they can do and what times they can do it, etc. when
That
they're
will
building
be
it.
conditioned.
It's
Yeah.
conditioned, yes.
But I would like to propose that the wording that Andrew
Is-
has jotted down
Is what we put forward.
is what we put forward.
Right.
Please.
Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
Tim, yes? Sure. Mike?
I think we're making a mountain out of a molehill on the parking issue. I want to see that building, put back to use.
I think we all do, yeah.
And I don't really think there's, probably because of my London background and still living in London, I don't think we have a major parking issue in River. I've been here 12 years. I'm not paying for parking. Every time I want to find a park, I find one. So I wouldn't want to go in with that approach, if I may.
I think it's.
I'm afraid I disagree.
I think it's
Well,
also.
yes, I'm not-
It's also because we represent what the villagers
Yes.
want, so this is why we're putting
Yeah,
that
okay.
in for.
Pauline,
Yes.
I've lived outside there 41 years.
Yes, yeah.
And to have, it's bad enough now parking there.
Yes.
Without, and
Yeah.
I might be the first person to want that one put back.
Yes, we do.
I mean, it was 3 houses when I came in,
Sure.
before it went to the
Yeah.
listing.
I mean,
It's a beautiful house,
Yeah.
and it is a lovely building. But I can assure you, the parking has got worse.
Yeah.
And I mean, if a car parked my side of the road and the other side of the road, I don't think you can get through.
No. Well, I have that every day passing the mill.
Mm.
But, no, I agree. It's a relative measure, and I shall withdraw my comment on that basis.
Thank you.
Right, we'll put that in and we'll see what happens. Okay, that's that one. Right.
Thank you.
Could you just recap us in the public arena here? Are you actually refusing or are you?
We're
No.
putting an objection. We can't refuse it. We are putting in an objection, bringing up the fact that villagers and other people have brought up the parking issue, and see whether they can reconsider.
Where would that go from then?
It goes to GDC
Right.
for this
And
application.
will they then have to resubmit?
No, they don't have to.
No,
They
we're
don't have to.
inviting them.
We're
So can they totally ignore that?
absolutely.
Yes,
Really?
Yes.
But
So
but we're inviting them to.
We only allowed,
reconsider.
as a parish council, to put views forward, or
sorry?
we can put views forward. We can't actually say yes or no to a planning application. We
You're a
can put,
statutory consultation.
yeah, we can object, but we can't stop a planning application. That will be up to the
So
planning
do you
committee.
still need the public to write in?
Yes.
Yes,
suggest
please.
this?
If
Yes.
you've got,
Because I see there is only one person. who-
yeah, if you write in, do it individually.
Mm.
It looks,
Yeah, more and more.
yeah,
Mm.
rather than a group. Put it in as
I mean,
one.
if there's more than 5, is it 5 or 6?
Five or six.
Five.
They'll-
Objection.
5 or 6.
Mm.
It
who
could,
write
it
in
could go
will
to
be
public.
Stronger.
before the planning
Yes.
committee.
Mm.
Yes.
It won't be a delegated.
It's getting people to actually do it. They'll voice it, but they won't.
I'm sure there's a few people that might say.
Well, we missed the
You can
date.
do it all online.
Yeah.
It's easy. You can do it online, it's easy.
Oh, yes,
to do
yes,
Yeah.
I know, yes.
Right. Right, let's move on to the next one, which is Hazeldown Close, which is an extension. They're going to convert their
For me,
Cons-
yes.
yes, it was very good. I looked at that and thought, what's she doing now? It's number yeah.
There's a typo, isn't it?
Yeah, it was number
was,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
like
corner one.
conversion.
They're going to convert the conservatory, make it slightly bigger and permanent, squaring it off, which is actually looks quite good actually. There is room at the back to do it.
had that a similar job done
Yeah,
10 years ago, probably. 10
it's
years
doubling
ago.
the size of the conservatory. Yeah.
Kitchen.
It'll be a,
Yes, it's-
a kitchen breakfast room.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure we
Yeah.
had an extension, like what, 10
Well, it's a
years
family
ago.
room they're making it into. Yeah, making it into. They had the side bit done, didn't they? They're making it into a family room, which kitchen, breakfast room, and settee at the end. It's a family room. Yeah.
We
Has
need
anyone-
a few of the houses in Hazeldown Close who've got a flat garden, so he has got the room for that.
Yeah.
The rest of us has got the,
You've got the hilly bit, haven't you?
we have the hilly.
Yeah. Has anyone got any objections to that? No. No. Thank you. As I said, we'll take the other two. We're going to take them to a committee, a subcommittee for this, because there's so much paperwork on them. We'd be here all night. Right. Any decisions from Devon District Council?
None at all, none I can see.
Right. Review of the highway improvement plan. Andrew.
Right, I hope you all had a chance, I mean I did circulate, so you all had a chance to have a look. There's nothing outstanding, all of the items that we had were either dealt with or they weren't able to be dealt with. So we're down to, it's time for renewal. So it's basically what are there new things that we'd like to have put on it. I've got a couple of things that have been suggested to me. I received an email some while ago asking about at the top of by the traffic lights coming off Travel Hill down into River, where the traffic lights are. A lady asked if there could be some kind of form. She said there's no crossing to get over the road to the bus stop
Is this
on
gravel?
the other side. Travel Hill.
My mum lives
Travel Hill.
on those lights, and she crosses the road every day. She's a bus. And it's
There's the
horrendous.
crossing.
It is a bit.
There is one by the convenience.
No.
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 Travel-
Press.
Oh, there's
Right.
one.
Sorry,
Travel Hill where it goes
Travel Hill.
down into
It's
River.
the travel,
okay.
it's
It's
the
quite
travel
narrow as
junction
well.
Yeah.
lights.
Just
Yeah.
It's a hairpin turn, isn't it? It's very
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's no way that
There's room for it.
It won't go
a
across.
pedestrian crossing would be.
Well, no, but I mean, possibly they could put in just a traffic,
Good enough done.
Because if you go left, they've got the bit you can cross across. But it is quite. There's no light.
It's never easy walking around.
It's
That
not.
can back up or that back.
Because if you cross one lot stops, the other lot's coming
And
round.
also you've got that brick wall falling over
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
You're back.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
did that the other day.
We can.
I mean, I was
We
whether
could
they
suggest-
could put in some kind of pedestrian control.
Like they've got on London Road.
Yeah, not necessarily a separate crossing, just a pedestrian controlled on the lights to allow some
because
time people to cross
you have
over.
to time it just right. Having lived there
I
for
know.
many years, you
There's
have to
not,
watch the lights and go. That's my time to.
it's
to
not
know.
easy because it's quite a wide road
Yeah,
as
there
well.
needs to be like even if they put a delay in the light change.
Yes, so
Yeah.
pedestrians can
Then it's
cross.
gonna have to
If we
fall along
look-
the
If we look at the
there,
last
into
item
the road.
on there, I think that the red writing there sort of says it all. This was
What's there
outside.
anyway?
This was outside here,
Oh, no,
where there was supposed to be,
oh, there.
people have been asking or suggesting a pedestrian crossing outside here, near the school. But
That's been turned down in the past.
that's
hasn't it?
right. But I think that the reason for it is quite clearly explained there in red. And I think that that
Oh.
would be a problem.
We could always ask them to look at it. I mean, it might come up
Oh,
with exactly
yeah.
the same, yes. We could put that.
People.
Huh?
It's just following.
They said the pedestrian footfall is not.
Not enough of it.
Sorry, I did a couple of them. Yeah.
I do
But
recall.
because it's so bad, you know, it's a bit like, because it's so bad, nobody.
Cromwell Hill is
crosses
so
there.
busy, it might need something.
Do you remember, those of us that were on the parish council at the time, that a planning application that was where the for the conversion and additional properties that still haven't been sold, to do with the Railway Bell Hotel, that was held up for absolutely ages, and there was suggestions that a pedestrian crossing
Well,
should be put in.
They've got one further up, haven't they, yeah.
But we were told constantly that it was mostly Temple Ewell Parish Council that were taking the lead on this. But we were told repeatedly that it couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. And then all of a sudden,
Developers paid for it.
somebody managed to sort of.
I think it was part of the development contribution at the planning, they managed to get that one in.
But
It's
it's,
worth looking at. Yeah, we'll put one in. And
Yeah.
I can ask about it.
yes, we can ask about it because it is difficult to cross there.
I mean, a little bit further on the straight stretch would have been easier to cross there, you know.
What, further up you mean?
Yeah.
And there was only a couple of years ago somebody got killed going.
Yeah.
Peter Austin,
That's
but
Powerful
badly done.
persuader, isn't it?
He didn't get killed.
You usually got to have so many deaths before they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So we'll
On that
we'll put
junction,
something into them
it's
for it.
insane to
Yeah.
add another.
Well, so I can ask the question.
You can.
But a railway
Now, the
bridge
next
is really-
suggestion, I've only got 3 of these.
Oh, we'll have to put that down in between everybody.
Add
Yeah.
We've got to come back up again.
This is the next suggestion.
Add a footbridge over there.
Oh, there.
So I've had a request from a member of the public. You can see down at the bottom where the double yellow lines end. This is London Road.
Yes.
And he asked basically for the lines to be extended. The road is still quite narrow there. And he said cars park immediately after the end of the double yellow lines and it
What's
blocks the
that?
road.
It's on London Road.
And it's going up London Road, beyond the traffic lights where you go Trouble Hill into
What I'm
London
talking
Road.
about is just beyond the traffic lights coming up Crabble Hill or from Crabble.
What?
I'm trying to get my head around it.
So if you
No, I don't know.
If you
If
come
you
out,
just
if you
turn-
turn left at the Crabble lights,
To head in turns to go.
turn left,
Come
and
up.
past the bit you were talking about,
Yeah.
and you've got Colston Close, haven't you?
Yes.
Bit further up on the left, this is what this is.
yeah, a bit further up, yeah.
We're looking towards Canterbury.
Well, they built that house a few years ago, didn't they? They redid it.
Yeah.
Just past the news.
It looks narrower than my.
Really high.
Yeah, it's
fence.
wider.
It's wider than
Yeah,
this photo
yeah,
makes
yeah.
it. It is really wide here. This photo makes it
Yeah,
really
there's a
narrow.
Very narrow,
bigger
yeah.
fence here, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's Google Maps.
Go off to-
yeah. It can make it look very narrow.
Yeah, this looks like it's. So he wants to extend the
He-
lines
The
suggested
line-
to be extended.
Why?
Extended to stop cars parking on that section.
He doesn't live here, does he?
He does actually live
I
in
thought
one of
I
those
did, I thought
houses.
he did.
so-
How far would surely they'd like he'd want the lines all the way then?
What for?
Well, I think before you get too far up, you actually get the road does widen
Yeah,
out
it does.
properly.
You've got the bus stop on the other side of the road,
Yeah,
haven't you? The
yeah.
concrete
Well, it goes
shelter.
up onto Pilgrim's Way,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
So it does widen, and that's where it turns to 40, doesn't it, for that bit? This is the 30
I'm
zone.
not sure about that bit. I haven't seen many cars actually parked there.
No, I mean,
experienced
you
problem.
occasionally get them there, but not
Usually-
that often.
Service vans and things like the builders.
I've never experienced a problem.
No, I've never seen a problem there. Unless when they've had traffic lights and been doing repairs or something. But I've never had to
Just,
go around anything.
Just another point, sort of looking at that photograph that was taken. I mean, that great clump of undergrowth that sticks out on the opposite side of the road, I mean, surely that must be too low for a double-decker bus.
No, it does get under it. It
Yeah.
takes a bit with it each time.
Yeah,
Yes.
it keeps it shaved.
It does. That's why it's that shape. They will look at it. If the bus company complains, they will come out and look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, this isn't necessarily this year.
No.
It could be last year. It could be. You know.
Yeah, that might already be down, but yeah. But I'm not keen on that one because I've never seen a problem there.
No, that's fine.
No.
I don't think it's
Third one is one that actually only came in yesterday.
Oh, our favourite place.
Did I share two? Oh, I did a few more
One
things.
down. Other one
I
down.
did a couple of these. It's,
Oh, yes.
it's
The bridge,
the
yeah.
bridge, and this is saying that the new pedestrian signs by Kersney Station, the one shown in the photo is positioned too close to the bridge and the crossing point to the station. If this sign was moved onto the lamppost in the centre of the photo, which I think is the, I'm a little confused about
I
what.
think highways have an order the signs go in.
Hmm,
So it could be, it's worth asking if it's in the right order,
yeah.
but it probably is the way the signs have to go in. They have to warn the bridge is low before you get to pedestrians. It has to be so many yards from it, doesn't it, to give them time to stop. But it's worth asking.
There hasn't been anything jammed under it for a while, has it?
No, it's been it's been Coombe Valley Road
Fake.
instead. Yeah, Coombe Valley Road, they tried taking the bridge down. Yeah.
And that's all that I've
That's
been
yours, right?
given.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has anything else that they want me to raise with them. The meeting, online meeting, is 11th of April,
Oh, right, okay.
so I've got a little while.
If you think of anything, committee, let Andrew know. Right, where we go?
I get it.
Not moving the pedestrian sign somewhere.
Yeah. And you see this point of bringing it
Yeah.
back
I
up.
think that whole area is very dangerous anyway.
But I know they have to have the height sign so many feet from the bridge, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure how they,
Yeah.
whether they, I don't think they'd put them together, but it's worth us
Whole
or
area is
Andrew
very
asking.
dangerous.
Yeah.
There's another spot that you take your life in your hands when you come.
Well, if you come out of the station, you park there.
I walk
Yeah.
out as a pedestrian down those steps and it's in the dark and it's good. That's
Yeah,
it's
it is.
the risk
From the
that you
station
take.
as well.
Yeah,
Right.
it's tricky.
Right, no one's got else on that, let's move to the next one.
Well,
And,
the thing is, the station was built in the days before everybody had cars, really.
right, Riverdale initiatives, Mike.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep this brief, it's been a lengthy meeting. I had a meeting on the 18th of February with Martha Noakes, who's our freshwater officer at Whitecliffs Countryside Partnership. There were two objectives there. One, to establish how we could apply for funding from the Environment Agency for habitat improvement on the river. The second objective was to walk over the river, just our short stretches, to look at potential opportunities for that. Now, my original idea was that we would apply for funding ourselves, but I needed to get closer to the logistics of that and also have the assistance in doing it from Whitecliffs. And then we would go ahead with our own assessment of the river and then approach the Environment Agency for making habitat changes. In fact, what has happened is I'm now taking a new direction because Whitecliffs have told us that they are already applied for funding, not purely for renovation or habitat improvement, but for the whole funding to the EA. They expect a decision on that, and what they've said to me is, look, rather than making a separate funding application, we'll tack you on the back of ours And if we get a reasonable amount of money, and they obviously realise they won't get everything they're asking for, we will therefore say then rather than looking at the lower river, we'll come up and do some habitat improvements, a starter for you on your stretch here. So I think that is the best approach. In the meantime, I'm suggesting that we do go ahead with an assessment from the Wild Trout Trust. That because the Whitecliffs has said to me that whilst the EA will insist to come and look at every possible potential development we want to do, that a second opinion would be important, because then we're prepared to say to the EA, what if, why not, rather than be completely blank about it. Now, this assessment could take place on the 4th of April for a cost of £104.40, and that gives us a written report as well as a walkover on the river from one of their environmental people. The last report on the Dow for them was done in 2009. Now, that's a long time ago, and even in 12 years I've been here, I've seen some very fundamental changes in the river. So I believe that in terms of a long-term relationship with the Wild Trout Trust, it's worth having them to take a look, put a recommendation down where modest habitat improvement can be made. You have to realise we can't make major infrastructure changes on a river that's been modified to drive 13 millers over the last 2 centuries. But there is work that we do which is very constructive, that provide better habitat for the trout and the whole environment of the river on a very modest step-by-step basis. So I would like to ask for approval if we've got, or a vote whether we can go ahead with that. And that would take place on the 4th of April.
That's what,
£104. What they do, they charge purely for transport, costs 45p a mile. And the Environment Agency actually subsidise their reports and their inspections. I think it would be a worthy investment. I'm only a personal member of Wild Trout Trust, but this actually gets us into getting more free advice, to be honest. Yeah.
Shall we take a vote on that, people? If everyone, show of hands, if they support asking them to do the report?
Yeah, thank you, yeah. Right. So, Andrew, you've got their contract which you've had a look at, which isn't too onerous, is it?
No, it's usual stuff, really.
So
they obviously want us to indemnify them against various things, but bearing in mind that they're volunteers and they probably don't have a great deal of funding, it's not.
I mean, now they are charity based, an NGO. They get funding from various places, and they're superb at what they do. We need to get that contract off to them if I make a confirmation to pencil that date in. The other thing I think would be advisable is to put a notice on the RPC website to say there will be an inspection in the river, because there's a couple of guys coming down who will want to walk some of the river rather than being on the road because of inaccessibility. And I also suggest it's possible we get some RPC yellow vests to make sure that people they're not
we did have some. We had 10. I don't know where they are.
Are they in there?
Look at me.
Because the other way, we bought at the vet.
Yeah, I have one.
On the red.
True. I have one.
They could be in the cabin on the recreation ground.
There's a few in the.
I mean, there certainly
in
are
the wreck.
busy vests knocking around, but they're not necessarily our.
But if we make the post, we can tell everyone it's going to happen. So if this is someone having to walk past their back garden, particularly on the stretch where Patrick lives, etc.
They're not bringing the police to say this.
Exactly, there's an alien in my garden who wants to nick my bench. Now, so that's, I'll come back to you on that, Andy. Now, finally, I've had a response from River Parish Council, which is very positive, and they said we're very interested in your confederation about the river. Okay, and they've actually invited me to make a presentation on the 29th of April for 20-30 minutes to not only the council but any member of the public who'd like to come along. Now, I'm asking Whitecliffs to do that with me as a partnership because it actually demonstrates a physical relationship we have. I haven't had a confirmation on that. Now, whilst I'm quite able to create and write a presentation, I make an audio-visual presentation or merge what I want from them, because they've got a very good presentation on our finest hour, which we could use as well as their own message.
Right.
Putting those two together, make something professional. I wouldn't want to go there unless we shine, frankly. But at the moment, that I would be relying entirely on WCCP to do that. But I don't have the technology.
Yeah. Have they got the equipment? They'll bring it.
They're bringing. They said they can provide your sort of kit there in the evening for the meeting. But what I don't have is the process of actually creating that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to send me the information, I'll put it into a PowerPoint presentation, and you can.
Okay. I'm hoping WCCP will do that for us and take a load off you.
Sure they.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
but I mean, certainly I'm happy to just put something. Just send me the text. And if basically all I need is the text, and if you said, you know, slide one, this text, slide two, this text, kind of thing.
What about integrating some of their existing audio-visual presentation into the PowerPoint bit? Is that possible?
Yeah, possible. If they can let me have it.
Yes, there'd be no problem on that. Okay.
Well, it's the 29th of April,
yes,
so we've got a little bit of time to sort it out. But yes, I'll.
Well, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Right. We're moving on to discuss arrangements for the annual general meeting in May.
I think again this was something that Councillor Innes was interested in.
Yeah, I think that try and think of some ideas, because basically to try and make it more of an event and have a bit more time to think about it. And I'm wondering whether we could do something like a door drop for it with an invitation, and whether we find maybe a different venue to hold it in, and maybe is there a possibility we could talk to the mill about holding it there? Maybe more incentive for people to come along. I mean, I'm opening this up to everybody rather than just being here and having somebody coming along to make a presentation.
How do we advertise the annual general meeting? It's on.
It's yeah. I mean, it's only advertised in the same way as meetings are. Really.
So it's on the Parish Council site. It's on the
River
one, isn't it?
Yeah, and I put a note on our social media as well.
Two people coming.
Yeah. I think the most we've had is 10.
A couple of flyers that were in the co-op. And
One of them
We always put those
isn't it?
up, and the notice boards, yeah. We do put it out on the River site quite a bit.
Is this worth investment in a banner like we were talking about for the Summer Fates?
Yeah.
Generic banner that maybe we could have the addition where you change the date panel.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get them with a Velcro panel, so their annual general meeting with the logo on, so we could reuse it year after year for save money, and then have a change the panel maybe, if that's possible with a printer, because it would be on the side of the recreation ground, lots of traffic would see it if we wanted to drum interest. Probably would be cheaper and easier than a full leaflet drop of the village.
Could it be more of a social event where we meet the councillors, so we all have a story to tell, don't we?
Yeah.
Whether it be personally about our lives, or maybe it's about what we want to do, our ambitions here. Which obviously mine is going to be about the river. You can choose yours.
Well, but our would be fine with the fish and chips van coming.
Yeah, well, I was going to say maybe we go to the mill and give everyone a free drink, but I wasn't going to suggest that.
I mean, basically, it's two meetings. You have the annual general meeting, which is really more about procedural things, electing and re-electing the chairman, etc., and the annual parish meeting, which everyone has to hold. And some parishes will have the two on different dates. You don't necessarily have to have the annual parish meeting on the same date as the AGM. I mean, when I started.
The annual parish meeting then compared to the AGM.
Yeah, it is about sort of community information, getting people together, that kind of thing.
That's where we have the presentation.
Okay.
The people I was going to suggest regarding perhaps a talk or presentation, now I can't remember if it was the AGM or if it was another meeting, and sadly it wasn't very well attended, was when we had the two people from Kent Police regarding online fraud and that type of thing, which was very informative. It wasn't just online fraud, it was anything to do with your bank cards to online fraud, which would be worth asking them again to come along again, because it was an informative meeting. And unfortunately, only sort of a minimum number there.
Because it's called annual
No,
AGM,
how many
would
people-
you think it's interesting, isn't it?
I'm not sure that the venue that we've always used, which is basically behind us, is a problem. But as to an alternative one, what about the village hall?
Well, that's good.
Do they have events on that night? It'd be a Tuesday night.
Yeah,
Well-
we do.
Yeah.
And fully booked all day Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, again, it doesn't. The annual parish meeting wouldn't have to be on the same
No.
date as the AGM. Could be more of a standard meeting
Yeah.
with including the usual the kind of appointments of chairman, vice chairman, etc.
Yeah.
And then carrying on with a normal meeting, and then the annual parish meeting could be on a different. It just needs to happen within that sort of May and June period, I think.
Yeah.
There is a
But we've
period that
always
has to happen.
coupled them together to
We
two meetings.
well, this
so
parish
2 nights.
council always has, yeah. But,
Yeah.
I just think we just advertise it slightly different this time, you know, just
I think you
not
need-
put the AGM in bold letters, put some informative
Yeah. Just make sure we show
evening
it around a
about
lot.
fraud, and then this will be held during the AGM in smaller writing underneath.
I mean, the charity
Get
sector
people
does
through the door.
struggle with annual general meetings because constitutionally you have to do it, and yet post-COVID, people just don't seem to want to come along.
No, they
So
don't.
what you almost need to do is have a theme that's of importance to the village
We've had some very
community,
good
and you
things,
invite a speaker to
and they
come,
haven't come.
and they still haven't come.
No.
Yeah, but
The,
I think it's an advertising issue.
Yeah. The actual of the pits was the time when we held it a few years ago, and there was no local residents turn
And
up.
so who are
at
your
all.
members then that you're held to account to in relation to holding a meeting, and if nobody
But
comes
they're
from the
local
public,
residents.
how can you appoint?
Oh no, it's the AGM is just appoint you appoint the chairman has to be reappointed on an annual
right,
basis.
Yeah.
So it's
So
just
it's the councillors.
it's the councillors who vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we just advertise it more then for this year? Because it's only 2 months away.
I think you need something a draw.
What can we do?
I really would be shy about meet the councillors. It could be written very quirky and in a very amusing way, you know. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a crack at that because that's what I did for a living. Okay, and I think it could be a little bit of humour in it. Maybe we're not regarded in that way, you know.
Well, like a talent show for us, yeah.
Yeah,
we do it.
Oh, that'll be very clear
So
then.
yeah, we panic here.
I mean, I think that could make a amusing evening, particularly if you had the odd drink going with it. Yeah,
I mean, in London when they had
Yeah, big
AGMs,
house.
they'd have like fun days, or
Yeah.
they'd have fun afternoons
Tricky
for
here.
the children, you know, to the parents to come along with the children, and then while the children are busy doing something fun, then the parents can get involved and meet the councillors
But
and
of
have
course
a
they'll be at school
conversation.
during the day when we have ours.
Oh, you have it always during the
In
day?
May. We have it in May. They'll be at school. Yeah.
I've, quite frankly, over the last few years, I've despaired at what we could do to make this attractive to local residents, to get even sort of 20 there. I really do.
Could we maybe rent this, have it at school? No, people rent a school hall. It's about £50 apparently. To do it in a school hall, maybe it's a bit more approachable than the Methodist Church and
It might do.
not
It's worth a
the
try.
Methodist Church, but
Oh,
maybe it's a.
I would say the River.
And you could do American
Village
supper
hall.
there. You wouldn't be allowed to do like a little American supper.
Is the mill definitely off the agenda then? I often mention a mill and it doesn't seem to be sort of
Well,
integrated with
the
us,
reason
yeah.
why I'm not excited about the mill is because it's quite up from, you know, the map. It's on that side of the river again.
I do see the
Yeah.
benefit
I like
of
it
it
when
though,
it's
because it's a bit of a
It's kind of
tourist attraction as well.
charismatic and you know
Mm.
it's very much emblematic of the village, isn't it? Yeah.
Can we make a decision next month?
I think think we could. I mean,
If we all have a good think about it over
Yes.
the next
Yes,
month,
yeah.
and then anyone you might think might be good for giving a talk or
Check with
presentation.
You could check with the mill if that date is available
Yes.
and what they will
Yes,
charge.
see what
What
we
sort
can
of
find.
date should we be looking at?
It will be the 13th of May.
Yeah, okay.
I think second Tuesday of May, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 13th. Okay, we have ideas until next
Yeah.
for April. Okay. Right. Okay. Enough on that one then. Number 11. To discuss any issues raised regarding assets and services in any future devolution. The fun subject. Yes. We haven't had that much sent round to us. I noticed you sent round the one from Calc, but Calc has actually been not invited to the latest discussions.
Yes.
So that includes town and parish councils haven't been asked. They're asked to take part in this, but they've not been asked for their views.
No, because this is where they suggested that parish council consider,
Yes.
if we are asked at some point.
Yeah. What we'd like to take on, or what
Yeah,
we
what could
do.
we?
What could we do?
Yeah.
I know the town councils are. Some of them want to put on quite a bit that they want to do. You know, because obviously at the moment they're only legally allotments and events in town, isn't it? Yeah. And some parish councils are quite small. Very small, in fact. Only 3 or 4 members, isn't there? It might be. We haven't had much come out, have we, for devolution? No.
This is, of course, since the hopes of the Kent County Council, having had all the sort of district councils and borough councils.
Well, they were hoping they were one of those
Yeah,
picked, weren't they?
it would go forward, but
Kent's a little difficult to split up. Rather, it's the second biggest county. It's a little difficult. It's got too many diverse areas. Yeah. So we're now stuck with this, aren't we?
And it's got a rather large towns near London, I think.
It has, and it has Maidstone, which is a unity.
And
Unity
the Medway
Council.
town.
Yeah.
Because when I moved to Kent years ago, first of all, I lived in Medway town, and I know this thing came up about Medway applying for city status, and it was turned down, and I asked about that, and they said the general feeling is that Westminster doesn't want a large organisation on its doorstep,
No. Oh no. Yeah.
basically.
Just, I mean, maybe people have some ideas about
Yeah, I was just trying to
devolution.
think what community assets. I guess the biggest asset around
It's the recreation
is
ground.
recreation ground, but then you could say Kersney itself.
No, it's not ours.
Put it under devolution.
It would be the town councils.
Right, okay. But,
I won't
even,
be-
but would devolution, would it
Do we really
potentially-
want Kersney Abbey?
No,
No.
but I wonder, but thinking about assets like that, isn't anything that,
Yeah, it's what
Just
at the
as it might
moment
not
what
naturally-
we've got as our assets, which is
Yeah.
a recreation ground.
but I guess
And
the point of
obviously
devolution is
village
that more
hall.
assets could fall further down the chain of command.
Although that has its own committee, the village hall, it is an asset of River, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not quite sure how much the assets would spread, but I mean, the one we look after is the recreation ground, so. Yeah, so that is quite an important,
I think the only thing the recreation ground would be useful would be the car park,
no,
to remove
no,
that
that
from.
belongs
Can't
to
be.
the Dover District Council.
No, but this is devolution, isn't it? Is this not what
Yes.
devolution's about? It's saying that asset
the car park,
belonging to,
the DDC won't exist.
but then it would come under, but then we could say that asset is identified as coming under
Right.
River Parish
Yeah.
Council.
'Cause it's in the
That's
recreation
the
ground.
point of the devolution, isn't it?
Mm.
Is that things are pushed down. So it was just early thinking about what could be useful to come under the parish council, and I think that would be a prime location to come within.
Well, it would, because it's right next, it's
Yeah.
right in the recreation
Yeah.
ground, isn't it? Yeah, so it would be, make logic,
Yeah.
makes sense.
It should be rivers rather than.
Yes,
So under devolution, that would be something.
yeah, it
so
is worth, it's in the assets,
Yeah.
It'd
yes.
be quite something, wouldn't it, if we had the car park sort of handed over to us by Dover District Council, and we haven't even got the bloody planning permission
For the building.
meeting.
We would have
Probably
parking
need
potentially for
Absolutely.
Meadow, though.
Quicker building
Big
on
charge.
Yeah.
building that thing.
Sorry?
Right. You probably be quicker building on that car park then
Yeah,
transfer
probably.
in your clubhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we ought to think about, what we think we might
Yes.
have and what we'd like to maybe take on, or maybe be allowed to take on. Because obviously there'll be talks that are going on that Count doesn't get invited to, that
Yeah.
we don't know what they want us
I mean,
to do.
One thing that would come out of this, if ever we do get the planning permission from Dover District Council and the gentleman who seems to be intent on holding it up, is a meeting room,
Yes, yes,
which would be marvellous.
yes.
That we could use ourselves for various committee meetings, including these ones, and also make it available for letting. I mean,
if we have no Dover District Council,
obvious,
which
isn't it?
would eventually go, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What happens to planning? Where does planning go? Who makes the decisions on planning? Would be an interesting thing to think about. I know it's all got to be sorted out, car parks,
Yeah.
various assets, like we know that certain lampposts are Dover District Council's, so they might say where it is in River, they're now our responsibility.
certain bus shelters.
Bus shelters, we'd have had
Let's
one
get that
up.
bus shelter in quickly.
We'd have had one up already. It is interesting if they don't exist.
Yeah.
Will they
it's
split
hard.
it round the various areas? It is something to think
Perhaps
about.
we'd be invited to bid for a bus shelter.
Yeah.
Sponsored bus shelter. Yes. Yes. I think we ought to really have a think about
Yeah.
what might end up coming this way.
It would be useful.
Okay, there we go. Financial matters, Andrew.
Right, so I think I've got I've printed a copy of 2 documents for you all. The end of year analysis and also the monthly statement. So as always, the full digital copy has been previously emailed to you all, including bank statements. So first page is the bank reconciliation, everything balances.
We have late.
So actually that shouldn't say, where it says income, that shouldn't say January, that should say February. That's the February income, so that's a typo. Apologies for that. So received cafe lease, payment for the cafe utilities. The £200 which I was querying there is actually the Snap Fitness payment.
Yes.
It had a rather strange reference on the bank statement, which I couldn't run up, but that's what it is.
It has been paid then?
That has been paid, yes.
Thank you.
And then the office lease underneath. And then on the second page, we have right at the bottom all the February transactions. Has there anything? But it's the usual things: electrical supply, handyman, cleaning, groundworks. We paid the 4G SIM card for the CCTV is paid in one go for the year. There was a hall hire, new light fitting in ladies WC in the recreation ground, and just refuse and service, so nothing particularly different there. Anyone got any queries about?
No. Did we have to upgrade? Was it always 4G we had, or did we have to upgrade?
No, it was always 4G. So I've also had a look, bearing in mind the next item on the Curzon Abbey, I've updated the end of year analysis, so it comes up to the end of February. A lot of things obviously now are sort of pretty much fixed for the end of the year. What's on the income that I need to mention? There is a fairly large credit on our, because obviously we pay a direct debit for our electricity in the recreation ground. There's a large credit that is built up. So I am going to try to reclaim that before the end of the financial year.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
In May we start a new contract with a different company in any case, which is a lower rate.
They should give it back then, shouldn't they?
They should give it back. Well, they'll give it back sooner or later.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do. They must take their time. Yeah. Well, it's very useful having it up to date.
Thank you for doing that.
So, I mean, obviously a lot of the costs are kind of semi-fixed, if you like. Things like the groundworks and utilities are. Can you excuse me? Can you keep quiet, please? Sorry. So if we're looking at what you might call discretionary amounts, which is simply decided in council, you're really looking at the project and materials, number 27 on the list, £4,000, and grants to local organisations 21, £3,000. So you look at about £7,000 of monies that isn't really in any way committed. Obviously, some things may go up and down. The office administration is cheaper than it used to be, since we're not sending out anything in the post, and I've cut down on the printing a great deal, more things going digitally, so that's a smaller amount. I think we have to assume that the insurance will go up, although we don't. I've just started the process of pre-renewal information, going through that. I think the subscriptions will be about the same, which is basically our membership of Calc. One thing that I think we could knock off there, it's been the sort of habit right from when I started that we include a certain amount of money for election expenditure if it's required, which is basically if there is a gap on the council, it has to be advertised, and if there are 10 electors ask for it to be filled by election, then we have to go ahead with an election. But in actual fact, the kind of £1,000 or £2,000 wouldn't cover the cost of it anyway. So actually, we could knock that £1,000 off and just regard it that if there were to be an election, that has to be covered from it. Well, that has to come from reserves. Let me see what other things. The utility costs, I think, are probably being a little bit pessimistic there, because, as I say, we're entering a new contract. The rate is going down, so I think that may come down by a couple of thousand. So for the next year, that should be a little cheaper. I don't know if anyone's got any. Oh, the other thing is the VAT income, which is listed at number 10, is the income due, reimbursement due from 23-24. I haven't included 24-25 in here. It's not included in the expenditure. That's all excluding VAT. So I haven't put it in the income, because I mean you only put out one side in the other. So I haven't. So there's only 1 year, but obviously the amount that we have spent in VAT this year will obviously come back in. So our total balance carried forward will be somewhere in the region of 80,000 ish. One thing that I will be bringing to the next meeting is I've been having a look at interest rates. Obviously the interest rate on our deposit account has gone down twice now. But we could achieve a little bit more money if we put the money into a fixed. It's an instant access account that we've got. If we go for a deposit for a certain amount of time, we can get a slightly higher interest rate. So next week I'll make a proposal that you can look at. I'll have a look if there are outside financial organisations outside of our own bank who provide a significantly improved offer. But if not, there are a couple of options with Unity Trust Bank that will provide us with a slightly higher amount. So we could put a portion of it into a deposit for 3 to 6 months or whatever we decide on, that would bring us in a little bit more interest while we're waiting for the go ahead for the changes to the meeting room. I don't know if anyone's got any queries on the figures there. It's basically to give you an idea, say with the next item to do with Kersney Abbey as to what the funds are at the moment.
Right, we'll take Kersney Abbey. We had the presentation from DGC with the two choices of either putting some money in and becoming part of how the selection is done for the new playground, or doing the second one, which is you still get some say of it, but obviously you don't sit on the committee or decide it, you think. Their suggestion was about £15,000, if I remember rightly. I was not too happy with the fact that they've only chosen us. They've left Temple Ewell Parish Council out, they've left Dover Town Council out, Lyddon Town Council, Whitfield. They all use Kersney, but they say it's because it's attached to us. We're the council that they want the money off of. Which
£15,000.
yeah, which was they wrote that in there. That wasn't something they had said to us. They had written that in. It wasn't mentioned at the.
Well, we
went to the meeting. Yeah. Yeah. Because no sense of money was.
No
amount was
at that time. But when they turned up at the last meeting,
but they had it written in, didn't they?
It was written in,
which was not good.
It looked a little presumptuous to say.
I mean, Kersney Abbey is used by every district round Dover. It's used by Folkestone, Ashford.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The survey was only done on a you had to fill it in or something online.
The QR code.
Yeah.
Quite limited, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're going to do another one, they said.
There was only
That's
from
the
the
more
cafe.
detailed one.
Yeah, it was only at the cafe, was
Do
it?
it in the cafe, that it was
And without the £15,000 from us, the project will still go ahead.
It will still go ahead, yes.
Oh yeah.
And they actually presented some environmentally friendly options, which they had about refurbishing the equipment, which would be cheaper.
Yes.
They obviously want to go all bells and whistles, as much cash as possible.
They want to renew
of
as
course,
much as they can, yes.
But they could renew equipment. It was very stinky how they presented the 15,000. They didn't
Yes.
actually say those words to us. It was on the paper that they had put out. I think we've got projects in the village that we should probably be focusing
Well,
on.
we've got
personally.
our responsibility as a recreation ground, apart
I
from
mean,
the
the
new
recreation
office.
ground, Flint House.
Yeah, exactly.
But even taking that one out of it, which we've got the money is what we've put away for.
Sure.
We've got our own recreation ground with our own playgrounds.
Yes.
But their biggest task was to get our support as a partner so that they could apply for money from other
They
places.
can, They need, but they can get other. I did suggest at our meeting that they went to Temple Ewell and Dover Town Council, and they sort of kept saying, well, it's yours, it's Kersney belongs to River. Well, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
I think looking to the future, if there was devolution, we'd end up having it anyway. You're better off being part in from the
We
beginning.
shouldn't end up with that. That would bankrupt us overnight.
But then again, if we have no influence or input from
Well,
the
we still
beginning,
have some input, even in choice B, choice B. There is still influence.
I would agree with you that 15,000 is a big ask, but certainly you could start off with a lot lower figure, half of that, say about £8,000.
I'm still not keen at all. I would go for option B.
And let's be honest, locally, I know that people think the wreck is River Wreck, but the jewel in the crown is Kersney Abbey. If you've got people visiting you, they don't want to go and look at River Wreck, they want to walk around Kersney Abbey and Bushy Raff. Let's be honest.
No, it's the same for Temple Ewell people.
Exactly.
They don't
I do
walk
think
around
that
there.
They come across from Bushy Ruff and
well, exactly.
Russell
You get
Gardens into
you
Kersney
get
Abbey.
visitors from all North Kent and Mid Kent to come.
The playground on the other side, on Russell Gardens, has that been funded then partly by Temple Ewell Parish Council?
That was that was funded when they did the
Because that would
gardens
have
up.
been fair.
No, when they did the gardens up, the Thomas Wilson ones, they did it then.
3.2 million it was a
Yeah,
grant
but
for
it's the
Kersley
same, it's on
Abbey
their side,
and
and if
Russell
we go for
Gardens.
the argument that that's on our side of the,
Yes.
No.
No, but the users are not just from our
no,
No,
that's
no,
what I
it's
said,
not.
but
from all over.
the other playground on the Temple Ewell side hasn't.
No,
been-
theirs was all renewed under the grant.
Yeah.
The
That
heritage,
was
the
given
lottery
to-
funding,
yeah.
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 Yeah,
And
it's
the argument would be that
They could still get could still get funding even without us as a partner.
But I'm happy to be like a silent partner or.
Yeah, which
that
is
they
what
get
option
the,
B
that
is,
they
isn't
would
it?
get the funding, but I think our responsibility is the rec and the little projects that we're having in the pipeline for the next
Yeah.
5 years.
But
Yeah.
the wreck is not the jewel in the crown, Kersley Abbey is.
But if
Yeah,
we're
but
talking
we're
But it's
in
not
there.
our sole responsibility, which is what they were implying
Yeah.
that it was our responsibility as.
The wreck is.
No, they were
Yeah.
saying Kersley
Yeah.
Abbey, because we
Well, I
it's in
didn't, I
our
didn't get that implied to me.
well not sole responsibility, but I think it was implied that because we are Kersley is in River,
Mm.
we should help support it.
Well, I think we should, and I would say, okay, I was thinking at home about a figure of 10,000, but I'm quite willing to drop down to 5, and you've got room to negotiate. It's all in negotiations, isn't it?
Any money
As
we
Mr.
take,
Trump would say.
any money we take out of our reserves is money we
Oh,
put away for the office.
Yeah.
Office.
But I mean,
Greenhouse
£5
and-
grand out of our reserves is not a horrendous amount, is it?
When we get new quotes for Flint House, that
I
is
know
going,
that
that's
everything
going to go
else has
up.
gone up as well.
We know the cost of maintaining the recreation ground equipment goes up.
But I think I think a lot of people in River, especially if you live at the top end of the River, Coxhill Gardens, top end of Lewisham Road, your local park is Kersley Abbey, not the wreck.
Do you see that? That is a
I
fair
do
And
see
there's
it
a lot of people, and they say, oh, I live up on London Road. When you got visitors down, we walk down the cat, out in the, and that's what they want to see.
And they
Yeah,
did
but
say
Yeah.
but it's owned by DDC, and
Yes.
not by us.
And the fact
That's
that
why
they've
I'm
only
asking.
come to us as a parish council for money is what
Yeah, well, I
Wasn't
find
so
that a
good.
bit galling as
Yeah.
well, that they haven't asked that.
they should have asked every parish council.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think they also said that, you know, if you did make a contribution, these are all the ways in which they would promote and raise the profile of the parish council as well as
But,
part of that. And it looks quite good that we're doing a partnership
Yeah.
with them.
I mean, from,
If I'm putting applications in for the Flint houses and things like that, it looks good that we collaborate with
No, the district
the
council,
district
yeah.
council as well.
but I know at that meeting, there's no, I raised the question of the outstanding or the block that Dover District Council have put on our planning permission so that we can go ahead and do the work to Flint House. And I know the two things aren't directly
No.
related, but I still think that if we're talking about £15,000 and there had been some sort of movement on the other one, I would feel a lot more inclined personally to support it. But without it, without the permissions that we've been waiting for years now for, to enable us to sort of go ahead and convert that building into something useful.
Could we construct that as maybe, could we go back to is it Grace and what's the lady's name? Could we go back to them and suggest that we have got this planning issue
We have.
and say it's causing the parish council to, we would like to support the park, however,
But we went
we're
back.
concerned about the spiralling cost of Flint House.
Yeah.
But obviously the deadline is looming, right? So they're going to feel the pressure that they need some money
Because
from
every
us.
year they don't put it forward, it's
Mm.
costing
That's
more.
right, it's costing
I
more
mean,
money.
Yeah.
we did bring it up at our meeting and we have brought it up,
Could
we
we
brought it
say-
up when they
Yeah.
came here.
Because what's the
But they did
deadline
say
for
they have.
when do they want to hear back about?
But it's just stuck illegal.
Now, sort of,
Yeah.
we said we
April,
would
isn't it? They've
make
got
a
a new
decision here at this
End of the month?
I don't think think they put an exact deadline on it, but I mean they wanted to know
Well,
soon.
soon,
Yeah.
yeah. They've got a meeting coming up to the council. They're presenting
Yeah.
to the council either in April or May.
But I think your point as well is really valid, that they should have asked all the other local
They should
parish
have.
councils as
Mm.
well. So can we
Even if-
respond in that way as well? Say that we're happy to, in principle, contribute something, not on the level that they have said, but we want to understand why they haven't.
And we'd
Gone to
expect
other parish
other
councils, and we
councils
also
to put
expect,
offers as well,
yeah,
yeah.
we expect that movement
Or
on.
approvals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But all they say is that when it is raised, they always turn round and say it's one person that is
Yes,
blocking
it's
it.
stuck in
Well, let's
the
give them a deadline then. Let's say we need to hear back by the
Well, we can
End
say as
of-
well that it's costing us every year.
Yeah.
How many years of delay has it been?
3.
So for 3 years of delay, it's actually cost us
what you
Money.
want from us.
almost this amount from us, and that's why we are only prepared to give
Do-
this amount.
Do you know, even when we made the planning application and the building regulation application, another sort of telling point of this is that the building regulation approval has lapsed.
We've got to start again on.
Already.
Yeah, you've got to start
It's
again.
lapsed.
Yes, 3 years.
So that's another argument to say that.
Yes, because it means now that we've got to
Yeah.
fork out another building regulation application fee because
Because
it's
of their delay.
defunct.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do this, I guess would we need to take a vote? Actually, do we want to
We
find-
need to take a vote as to whether we support A, which is puts the money in
Yeah.
with conditions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or B, still be a part of the scheme but not actually contribute any
Yeah.
money. But we still get to know what's going on and a bit about, you know, what
Well-
type of stuff's going into the playground.
I think that we should go for A, but without agreeing a sum of money. And that the sum of money would be subject to future negotiation.
Yeah.
with a deadline.
And it's got to
Well,
have
if
a
you're
Yeah.
trying to
Deadline.
pressurise them over the flip
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
That's not
Deadline
it's
for
not
flip.
open-ended. You want
Yeah.
the cash. This is the deadline. These are our requests from you.
Yeah.
We
By
will then
next-
tell you how
next
much
meeting?
afterwards.
That's it. Yes.
They've got to come back to us by
Something.
next meeting.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
need us.
Yeah.
So let's
Well, they did
pressure on
say
them.
basically in Kersney to you that could be linked.
Yeah, they did, but they haven't actually,
I
it's
don't-
not moved.
No.
I don't
Have we had a
think the
date for a
two
meeting
things
yet?
are linked.
No.
But, you
Well,
know,
it's a partnership.
I like-
That's linked,
I like to
obviously.
think that they
We're
are.
all- On
No,
the
but they are
partnership level, then
linked
it should
because
be
they
linked.
have cost us the investment we want to put into our
True.
That's
own
what they're asking
space.
for.
Yeah,
Yes.
too right.
So that's why we
And
can't
more.
give them what they want, because they've cost
Yeah.
us by making that delay.
Right, shall we have a vote on it then? What, shall we put the conditions into them that it might be supported in, that we would put money into it, providing they help us or come back to us within a deadline? Or how to word it?
I would vote for that to say with
Use
conditions.
it as leverage, I
Yeah.
would. If we
But
haven't been
because
able to do it
it-
any
yeah.
other
We
way
need an
for
answer
3
on the
years.
planning, we
Yeah.
need an answer
But
on
with a
that.
lower
Yeah.
amount, without telling them how much, it would
Yeah.
be 15,000.
No,
But
we never even came up with that figure.
Well, we
No.
needn't even mention that.
No.
And I think
No.
with conditions, to use our advantage to get our project
Yeah.
moving.
We
Yes.
could then discuss
But
how
also
much.
that they should ask other councils as well.
Yeah,
parish
we need to
councils
put that in
well,
as well,
Because
it's-
because the research shows that others use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a lot more use it probably have shown than there.
Yeah.
They said one for St Madigan's.
Mm.
One for St Madigan's.
Is that, can you conjure up a,
Yeah, I can draft a letter and if I send that round and
Yes, then send it back to everyone and then they can send it back and say yes. Yeah. Shall we take a show of
Yeah.
hands on that then,
Yeah.
please?
Who's in favour?
definitely.
You don't, well, it's still option B, but it's fine.
It's
Oh,
option
you
B.
have option B as well.
Yeah. But obviously we go with the majority, so, yeah.
Good.
Right, East Sussex, Kent and East Sussex area ambulance?
yes, I've had an appeal from Kent and Sussex Air Ambulance. They're requesting a grant of or donation of £400 to help the Air Ambulance charity with our primary aim and end of preventable loss of life in medical emergency and to ensure the best possible outcome for our patients. KSS are a regional charity delivering life-saving expert care to those who need it most. Last year, KSS undertook nearly 3,400 missions with our highly skilled team of doctors and paramedics providing expert medical care. It currently costs £56,000 per day to provide our service, a 9% increase on last year. 88% of our income donated or raised by the people of Kent, Surrey and Sussex. We're relying on the communities we serve to be able to continue our vital service. A grant or donation of £400 or whatever your council may be able to give would really help.
Have we had
Previously supported
previously?
it.
Yeah.
You're not going to ask me how much we get. I didn't get a chance to look it up this afternoon.
I think it's what they asked for last time.
It might well
yeah.
be.
Well, I would propose that we give them £500.
Yeah.
I was involved in trying to do a charity thing up in Essex for the Essex and London Air Ambulance, and I was surprised to get a talk from them. Okay, the NHS would supply doctors and nursing staff, paramedics, but
Not the
what we were, the charity had to buy things like sticking plasters
Yeah, they have to
and
buy
we
everything else, yeah.
on the kit. You know,
Yeah.
NHS didn't supply that.
They just applied the medical people.
Have we given them the donation when that we talked about it for Christmas?
Was that a different?
Because
No.
I wanted to buy sweets for some clothes, then we said, let's donate rather than give it.
It was quite a small amount, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that like
Wasn't that the
£20
same
or?
It,
Yes.
did they, was it Hawthorne Close? Did they give
Yeah,
their
Hawthorne
income?
Close goes, I can't remember what it was this year though.
I think it was Air Ambulance, wasn't
I
it?
think
Yeah.
they always put some
Always
towards their ambulance. Yeah.
Everything's going to
Yeah.
ambulance.
But we said we would make a
But
donation.
this
Yeah,
is
we did.
separate though, isn't it? That was them paying the money.
Yeah, it was 2,700, wasn't it?
Paying money.
No, but at the time we thought we were thinking about giving a donation.
So that would
We
make
said
sense.
£50
Oh yeah, you got
Yeah.
what's that?
in the group. We agreed to £50 that Christmas.
But obviously they've cut.
Sorry, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree with Clive.
And we donated
£500.
£500 in April 2023.
Oh, well, there we are.
Yeah. £500 then.
Yeah.
Right. Show of hands for £500. They've asked for 400. We never did give them
We
a
did
Christmas one.
500 before,
Did we?
Yeah. in
But that was
2020.
2 years ago,
2
right?
years ago.
Can we give them?
So with inflation, it should be 550.
What I mean,
Who else do we give?
when they're asking for 400,
400, yeah.
why give them 400? Why are you giving them 500?
Well, because we're being
Clive,
generous
I'll
with what the work
propose
they
to
do.
And we've done 500 before, we ought to do the
500
same again, 500. But don't forget,
I think
don't forget the air ambulance has come into River more than once.
It's coming frequently round here.
Yeah.
and it's funded by bank interest, I guess, really, that we've gained
Yeah.
enough to
But
cover.
I'm just wondering, who else do we give donations like this to? What other organisations? Where's the equity and consistency
When they
in approaches? Only if they ask?
Well, it's like the scouts or
Okay.
Scouts, the village
schools,
hall,
Yeah.
Village
church.
magazine.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You ask-
The mill.
Village hall
Okay.
asked for it before.
So this is the only out of parish council area that we give them funding to?
Yeah, because
There was something about football kits, but
Because it serves the village.
remember that was because we said it all
Whitfield
come
asked
from-
for it, didn't they? Yeah.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
The water leak, didn't we?
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what the community fund pot is for, basically.
Yeah.
And hopefully the FET this year will actually generate some more money.
But that's after I
Yes.
get up. That's my getting up alarm.
We didn't
That's
know
like
she'd
you,
been
didn't it?
asleep for a few hours.
Sorry, you caught me.
So did we have a vote on that? We did.
I thought we
500?
did 500,
£500.
500 pounds.
500.
I mean, I'm in principle, absolutely, but it's for me, when you give out grants, I need to have an understanding of what the principles are in giving out grants. in relation to
I might- we
area
might need
local
them.
or outside, yeah.
We've
Well,
had two
this-
lot on the rugby pitch lately.
This could be the difference between life and death.
Yeah, but there are loads of charities out there, you know.
And River, you know, it's a Kent area, I mentioned Rivers in Kent, so
Yeah,
just look at it that way.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well, if it goes down, it goes down. You know, I don't care. I mean, I have proposed
It's not the amount for me, it's just when I've been on grants panels before, there are usually principles about determining equity in relation to who you offer and who you don't
That's absolutely
offer
fine.
and what the principles are, and I haven't seen any of that, so I can't,
It's kind of on a case by case basis.
you just don't on a case by case
Yes,
basis,
have a
yes.
policy.
Are we off? Okay.
Well, it's 4 anyway, so.
Yeah, they've got the majority anyway, that's fine.
It's 500.
Yeah.
Is it carried?
Yes.
Oh, good. Good.
Right. We haven't got it on here, but any other business which will be the
Oh,
face.
sorry, I've got one more
Oh, sorry.
piece of correspondence.
Oh, have you? Right.
There is a you may have heard there's a parking strategy consultation going on in the DDC.
All the
and
car parks.
we would like to invite you to engagement session with our consultants on Wednesday 26th of March at 6 o'clock to discuss the upcoming parking strategy for the district. The meeting will be hybrid, so you can either attend at DDC or via Microsoft
26th
Teams.
of March, a Wednesday.
If anyone's in,
What time? 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
I'll go.
Yeah.
You go.
I'll send you the.
Yeah.
Are you going to go actually up there in person?
I am going up there in
In-
person.
Has anybody seen the parking charges at Canterbury?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I haven't seen them yet.
Amazing.
No, I heard that.
Have they gone up that much? Again,
I was going to say, I think it's my best part, it's the easiest way to do it.
Parking strategy. I'd like to know what
And
they're
then
going
it's
to do.
invested straight into Canterbury,
It's
isn't
probably
it?
the money.
Oh, it's going up.
Charges.
I want to build on
I'm
it.
not buying anything
My
but
turn?
big and bulky.
Okay, so we set the date for the 13th of July, a few weeks back, and I checked the usual channels, the district council, called the surrounding villages, and there was no clash.
So the date's going to be.
Just discussing this at the moment,
sorry.
yeah.
Apologies, yeah.
So the date for the regatta was always to be confirmed up to that point till about 2 days ago, where it's now on the weekend of the 12th and 13th of July, so it's clashing with our date. So there is obviously a couple of issues that I had. There's one food vendor who is booked for the regatta for both days that will be able to attend. On the other hand, I've talked to a few vendors and like the dance studio who's doing arena events, and they wouldn't be able to attend a week later. If I'm saying I'm pushing it a week later, a week before is not. Well, you could discuss that if you want to do it a week before, but you would have to run that without me because I'm away.
Yeah.
I'm on
No.
holiday. You can do it.
No, it's alright, thanks.
So I wanted to put it out to discuss. The weekend of the 19th of 20th has got potential issues also because it's the first weekend of the summer holidays
Yes.
and it's the high traffic weekend, which I'm thinking we could hold our village fair there, and B, just river and we caged in because no one will get to us because
No one will get
donuts
anywhere.
will be gridlocked. But it also could mean that some of our vendors won't be able to get to us at 8 AM in the morning. So I'm kind of sitting at the moment, I've been mulling this over for 2 days, saying leave it where it is at the moment, because the regatta's going for 2 days. I don't know what they plan really on their second day. There's a lot of families that would go to 2 events anyway. They
a lot will go Saturday and go out.
I personally don't think it would affect us as much as I first thought, but I thought I'd air this with you to say this is happening. We tried to get as much information out before we planned this, and now we're clashing with obviously with the regatta.
I think you're right. I don't think it will affect us quite as much as we think. A lot of people go on the Saturday to the regatta.
Yeah.
Not every. I mean, some go, but there's a lot of sailing events, etc. on the Sunday, isn't there? So if you're not into that,
There's a lot of people who do that.
But is there an issue about double booking for vendors?
I had only one. I had actually. It was more the other way round. That people said they can't. It was more people saying, I'm away that first weekend of the summer holidays. It's like the dance troops were, well, they said we prepped this for a whole year. It's always been for River Folks. It's always been the weekend before the summer holidays.
yeah.
They're kind of set on that. And I only had one vendor, which was a new one, not available, which is the vegan van. But I'm thinking they were not available last year as well. I got two food vendors already, like fish and chips and the pizza. That I think we could cope with that. But I thought we did.
I mean, we haven't got any cars because they're going down.
Yes.
The
It might
vintage
be a
cars,
bit
obviously, because
smaller.
they're always down there, aren't they? Yeah. Might be a bit
it's-
smaller, but maybe it's the vendors that come, you know, the people with their stalls that most
Yeah.
people come down.
So
and look around.
so the thought is, if
We
I
stay
read you
where we are.
correctly, is that we stick with it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm worried about the traffic on the weekend there.
Yeah.
That we know from previous years that we usually stay in our gardens that weekend.
You don't go. You can't go anywhere.
And yes, you could say, brilliant, we do the fete that weekend. We can't go anywhere anyway. Captive audience, but we can't get anybody to us from people who are running the stalls.
Yeah.
Or St. John's ambulance. They're probably going to be.
Yeah.
They're already probably booked already, plus we have to find a toilet again.
So is anybody against
Keeping it.
holding it on the agreed date of Sunday the 13th?
No, I think we should leave it where it is.
We'd go with it.
Right, I'll get you involved with the yacht club with the
Regatta.
regatta.
Yeah.
Being the vice
I know.
governor,
You've got to go down, haven't you?
Do anything, yeah.
They usually pack up at 2 anyway.
Oh, there's other events on, I suppose, like the bar.
That's not an event, what's that?
Yeah. No, maybe that. Yeah. But you're right. The following weekend. So far, the last holidays, the traffic hasn't been too bad. But I mean, this is summer. That could always go wrong, couldn't it? You've only got to get one car going the wrong way or a lorry going the wrong way, and everything stops.
Are we still under AOP?
Yes, we are.
I would like to, for the records to show that it's very nice to see more of our local residents here and for your participation. Thank you very much.
Has anyone else got anything under AOB? No?